Sherry Dunn is in for Michelle tonight. We begin with new evidence in a fatal police shooting from 8 years ago.
Evidence the family says proves that Michael Bell was killed in cold blood and that officers engaged in a cover-up. CBS 58's Stephanie Brown joins us live now with more. Stephanie?
And Sherry, that's exactly right. Earlier today here at Cannon and Dunphy, we learned there are hundreds of pages of evidence along with a tape deposition from the officer who actually pulled the trigger. The Bell family is hoping this evidence will eventually lead to charges in the death of Michael Bell Jr.
At least 3 times before you pulled the trigger, Officer Straussbaugh yelled that you could hear, quote, "He's got my gun," or words to that effect.
Correct.
When you first pulled the trigger on your pistol, had Lieutenant Kruger yelled, quote, "Shoot," close quote?
I don't believe when I first pulled the trigger. No.
Michael was being grasped by 3 police officers, and a 4th police officer came up and directly took a gun and put it right on Michael's temple and killed him on the spot.
It's been 8 years since Michael Bell was killed by Kenosha police. In November of 2004, Bell had been stopped right outside his house. His mother and older sister witnessed the shooting.
Mike's screaming too, "I don't have your gun. I don't, please don't shoot me. I didn't do anything wrong."
Shot point blank in the head, his life was over. Officers involved were found to have done nothing wrong. They claimed Bell was going for one of the officers' guns.
Gonzalez pulled the trigger the first time and it didn't go off, and he pulled it a second time. So that was an absolute deliberate act.
So today, Bell Sr. and his team of private investigators turned over hundreds of pages of evidence to the Department of Justice and the FBI.
For criminal charges of murder and obstruction of justice against not only the officers involved with Michael's death, but also the Kenosha Police Chief and their administration.
And the Bell family is hoping the Department of Justice comes back with enough to investigate the Kenosha Police Department and ultimately charge the officers with murder. We did contact the Kenosha Police Department and we haven't heard back from them at this point. We are reporting live here in Brookfield. Stephanie Brown, CBS 58 News.